So thanks a lot for watching. I haven't done a video in a while, but I wanted to share this with you because work I work 7 days a week, and it's because I'm completely and utterly stupid. And that's kind of a joke that I use to alleviate the tension. A lot of humor is meant to alleviate tension in our lives, and I'm certainly no different when I present humor sometimes. I work 7 days a week because I'm utterly stupid, and I haven't figured out how to do it 5 days a week like I did for 30 years of my life. So I got to get back to that and reprioritize my work-life balance and have more life and less work. But thanks for watching the video. This is a Saturday morning as I broadcast, and I usually am at work by now. I'm usually at work by a long shot by now. And I sell cars as part of my day-to-day roles, I guess you could say. I'm a broadcaster, podcaster, and I also sell cars. And one of the things in the car business that you may or may not be aware of is that there's a thing called an up. And not to reduce the customer to a thing or to an object or to a concept, but an up is very, very valuable. And depending on what car lot you work for and what kind of dealership you work for, the up could be your bread and butter. Your up could be your victory or your defeat. All right, it could be your doom or it could be your gravy train ticket. So an up essentially is any customer that arrives on the lot that is not pre-scheduled. It's not somebody you were expecting. It's not an appointment, in other words. It's just somebody who's kicking tires maybe, or it could be somebody who has their car in service getting an oil change and they're just kind of wasting time and killing time on the lot. That's an up. You approach them and you say, hey, how can I help you today? How are you doing today? Now, depending on what car lot one would work at, an up generally goes to the salesman who's there first or the saleswoman that's there first. So let me know, by the way, chime in and let me know you're here. You can either let me know by typing on the screen. I'm driving, obviously, so I'm not going to read the comments in real time, but I do love reading the comments. And if you would like to donate, I would love you to do that. It all goes back into my podcast and into my pay it forward lifestyle, which is always helping people out to the best of my abilities. So the up goes to the salesperson who's there first. So if you have 5 salespeople, salesperson number 1, if they get there first thing in the morning, the first customer that wanders on the lot who is not accounted for and is not an appointment, is not a previously expected person or whatever, they're the up. So that salesperson, through due consideration and practice, gets that first customer. The second salesman or saleswoman to clock in that day gets the second up. Now, depending on the volume that the lot has, there may not even be an up. You might work 10, 12 hours and not see a single customer wander on the lot, and there are days like that. And there are days where the first up is there before the dealership even opens. And there are times when the salesperson is there before the dealership even opens. I'm one of those. I usually would get to work an hour before the doors open just to be ready, just to get all my ducks in a row for the day, and to hopefully be the first one or second one in to get that first or second up. So long story short, today is a Saturday. I usually would have been at work an hour ago, and I decided, my wife had a very, very rough night of sleep. We have a puppy who is wonderful, Penelope Featherwick, our English setter puppy. Penny is a beautiful, magnificent creature. She's more human than dog, and we love her to death. But sometimes it's like a real human baby, and they have their needs, and they need their attention, and they need to go out and pee and poo and stuff. And that can be tough on anyone, but when you haven't gotten to sleep until 2 or 3 in the morning, and the dog wakes you up at 3 or 4 in the morning, that's not a good formula for having a good day. So I weighed my options today, and I thought, okay, I could scoot out of the house and get to work early so I could madly kick and claw and scream and shout and bleed and hemorrhage from all places to get that first or second up of the day. could watch Penny take her on a more, you know, on top. That's all that matters. I let her get her hour of sleep. Now, our culture domesticates us. Maybe our parents domesticated us to believe that option number one was the option that was the one we should be our go-to, right? Option number one is get to work early, put your nose to the grindstone, get that first up, be a good salesperson, and get that sale, damn it. Sell that truck, sell that SUV, sell that car. And your spouse can figure out sleep later on. Maybe they can take a nap later on. That's what our culture has raised us to believe. By and large, certainly Western culture has raised us to pick profits and money and nose to the grindstone and working a bullshit job maybe that you're working 8, 10, 12, 15, 18 hours a day or more because that's what you've been raised to believe you have to do. So today I made a very pivotal decision. I said, you know what? F it. I'm not going to kick and claw and scream and bleed out of every orifice and kick and scream my way to a sale today. I'm just going to let things happen organically today. I have a nice lady who's coming in possibly this afternoon to buy a vehicle. And even if she wasn't, I made the right choice because if I have to choose profit, if I have to choose a sale, if I have to choose selling a length of pipe to somebody before the other guy gets a chance to sell a length of pipe to somebody, or I could be considerate to my wife, considerate to my family, and do the right thing. I am trying, as I quickly approach old age, to do the right thing more than not. And that's why I'm not rushing right now. I'm going, if anything, a mile under the speed limit. I'm completely calm. My Fitbit is telling me that my heart rate is just where it's supposed to be. And normally I'd already be at work. The stress hormone, cortisol, would already be kicking in for the day. And I would begin my voyage of kicking and clawing and screaming and bleeding to make a living today. We ought to focus more on making a life and less on making a living. But the problem is we've been so brainwashed, maybe by parents and grandparents and culture and society and the structure and the powers that be, that making a living is the first and foremost most important thing that we can do. Do you think ancient cultures, do you think even some cultures to this day in the world, that's their first priority is to wake up and say, how am I going to make a living? Or do they just get up and live? Think about that today, my friends. Thanks to the handful of you who took the time to watch this. I wish it were thousands of you. But I'll take 2 or 3 or 10 or 20, and maybe our numbers will grow, maybe they won't. If you like what you hear, please go to a couple of websites, okay? HughesFromTheHeart.com and Patreon.com/Spencer Hughes. You really only have to remember the first one. That's my free home on the web, free for all, and free for all. Kind of a double meaning there. So check it out, HughesFromTheHeart.com, and if you eventually like what you hear enough to want to support it, there's a nice support button at the top of the page, and you're more than welcome to click on that. And if we get enough people watching these, I'll be honest with you, I don't know that I'll do them very often if only 3 people watch them. I could stand on a street corner in Shelton, Washington, and talk to people and have at least 50 people stop and listen to what I have to say. So I'm not going to be putting the energy into these videos if only 2, 3, or 5 people watch them. But if we get enough people, maybe double digits, triple digits, I will be encouraged to do them more often. My goal is to not reach 3 people a day, it's to reach 3,000 people a day. 30,000 people a day, as many people as we can, to touch as many hearts, souls, and minds as humanly possible. So get out there, have a great day, and maybe put making a life ahead of making a living today. Much love to all of you.